People in my life always ask me, why do you love trains so much? It's a difficult question for me to answer. Here's what I know. I love the consistency of trains. I love how railways extend from one point to another and how routes look on a map. I love looking at the scenery out the window of a train. I love the character of each train station and the way it reflects a region's local culture. I love the camaraderie of riding a train with people from all walks of life. I love the different types and colors of trains. Finally, I love the history that's etched into the very rails we ride on. You may think it's only trains, but I've liked transit, paths, and general order ever since I was a child. I spent my youth liking sidewalks. I liked how there were clear paths to get from one place to another on foot. I also liked buses. I liked how they had multiple rows of seats and that I had the option of choosing a seat. I liked boats until I saw the movie The Titanic. I have no idea who let me watch that movie as a child, but the scene with the elderly couple lying in bed while the water rises in the room haunts me to this day. Although I've been fascinated with transit for most of my life, I didn't call myself a rail fan until a few years ago. It was 2021 and I came across a YouTube video of raw footage of the New York City subways from the 1980s. Watching a video like this was, and still is, a common thing for me to do. It's a glimpse into the past, a view of how transit has changed, and a microcosm of culture at the time. I enjoyed the video, but on this day I did something I never usually do online: read the comments. When I scrolled to the comments section, I was struck by the amount of people just as enthusiastic as me, some way more enthusiastic, discussing trains and transit. It made me realize that there's an entire community of people who read and watch pieces of content about things I'm genuinely interested in. For a person like me whose main passion is writing and recording video, this discovery opened a window to combine a few of my interests. From that day on, whenever I'd take a train, I'd record footage of whatever I found to be interesting out the window. Then I decided to upload the many clips of trains I already had saved on my computer to the internet. Then I built up the confidence to share my thoughts on different train stations through commentary videos. Over a few years' time, this passive interest grew into another topic to write about and document. As I became immersed in rail fandom, I began to have experiences that made me think about the unique nature of the hobby. One day I was on a trail in Beacon Falls, Connecticut, waiting for a Waterbury Branch train to pass. I began planning out my shot with my camera, changing the settings, trying to figure out the lighting, the usual stuff, when a man on the trail walked by. "You're a photographer?" No, yeah, but not professional or anything. I just like to use my camera and, if you wait here long enough, trains will come by. Like, couple an hour. I was afraid and slightly embarrassed to tell this man that I knew exactly what type of train was on the way, what time it was coming, how many cars it had, and that the very spot we stood I found on Google Maps to capture it from. So instead I said, "Oh, thanks." This interaction was a nice one. People like this man just want to be kind and helpful. Regardless, I'm always questioning if I should share how much I know or stay silent. I find myself bashful and self-conscious when it comes to being knowledgeable about something. An interaction I've found to be unavoidable as a rail fan, every once in a while, is being treated in a patronizing, somewhat infantilizing manner. Picture this: you're catching up with an acquaintance. "So I saw you were at the trains. That must have been cool, huh?" Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it took some photos. That's so cool. Yeah, it was cool. I've seen a lot of them before, but that must have been exciting. I mean, yeah, it was cool. I got some new photos. And... Oh, I bet you did. I bet you got a bunch. It's sort of a disingenuous, infantilizing way of speaking that confuses me. I'm perfectly fine with people saying, "Oh, trains are pretty boring," and having a conversation about that, or not having a conversation at all. But the seemingly pretend interest that's forced in conversation is a little bit odd. The infantilization of rail fans is surprising, considering just how inherently political of a hobby it is. The intersection between trains, politics, history, and culture provides endless inspiration for conversation. For example, the idea of high-speed rail in the United States, or even improving rail infrastructure in general, is deeply politicized. It's common for rail fans to be the catalyst in spreading awareness regarding these contentious issues, whether that be in discussions on social media or creating their own content for other platforms. Arguably the most digestible, in-depth, and nuanced explanations of issues in transit, urban planning, and civil engineering have come from amateur voices on YouTube. I can't count the number of times I've clicked on a transit-related video and come out on the other side having learned something new. I know a minuscule amount about transit compared to other passionate voices online, but ideas are constantly flowing in a way that welcomes conversation. The idea of infantilizing railfans expands further to people that are passionate about a topic or a hobby in general. Let's step away from transit for a minute and imagine your hobby is marine biology. Every so often, you go to a local science center to volunteer. That volunteer work, most times, is viewed as something you can put on a resume. There's truth to this, but the genesis of this activity wasn't, I could put this on a resume, but rather, man, marine biology is cool. Why can't we just let people enjoy looking at starfish without thinking about their resume? In a society that's eliminated any and all forms of community, it's become increasingly more important for an individual's mental health to have a hobby. In a 2023 study, it was found that participants with a hobby self-reported an increase in happiness, health, and overall satisfaction with a decrease in depressive symptoms. It's clear that having a hobby is a privilege. Not everyone has the time or money to go to a train station to watch trains, or in the example previously mentioned, head to the ocean to check out marine life. But the idea of intentionally depriving yourself from a hobby due to fear of judgment is puzzling. In my opinion, the most interesting people to speak to are ones with obscure hobbies or peculiar interests. Even if I find the hobby incredibly boring, the vast lore behind it is fascinating. I'm always eager to hear just how complicated a hobby is, specifically one that I don't understand. With that said, I feel as if many Americans aren't used to speaking with people that have a hobby. Certain hobbies are now deemed performative or a tool to fit an aesthetic rather than a way to enjoy a genuine interest. It's hard for people to imagine what it's like to enjoy something without thinking of how it will be perceived. Too many times, the thought isn't, I want to do this activity, but rather, how will this activity make me look? When I look back at my interaction with that man on the trail in Beacon Falls, or speaking with a patronizing acquaintance, I struggle to avoid that thought in the back of my mind that leaves me self-conscious. But the more I immerse myself and enjoy my hobby, the less I nurse these thoughts. Not only has being a railfan given me another topic to write about and be inspired by, it's taught me a lot about authenticity. You don't need a reason to enjoy a hobby if it feels right to you. There doesn't need to be an end game for your interest in trains, marine biology, underground rap, or any obscure topic of your choosing. Instead of worrying about perception while enjoying a hobby, simply slow down and enjoy it.